it's Silva, and today is finally part 3 of my gear review series of how my gear held up on the Appalachian Trail after 657 miles. So part 1 was the big 3, which I'll link here. Part 2 was all of the clothing and everything I wore, which I'll link here. And finally, part 3 is all the other gear, so stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing that was one of my favorite pieces of gear was my Fanny Pack. This is by Thrupack. It's the Summit Bum. I loved this. It's waterproof. I kept my vlogging gear in it and anything that I wanted to keep absolutely dry on the many rainy days. Unfortunately, the zipper broke, so it no longer zips. Now I have had this, the zipper zips back and forth, but it doesn't actually zip. So I've had this a few years, I think, maybe a year. I can't remember when I purchased it. I did contact the company. They didn't get back to me, but I understand. I've had it for a little while, so no hard feelings there. I do need to get a new one. Honestly, I really love this piece of gear. The next piece of gear is my Garmin InReach Explorer. I know some people have the mini. I went with the full version. That could be a video all on itself. But again, I know that there's lots of people that say you don't need this on the Appalachian Trail. I really like it. I stand by, everybody should have some form of SOS, even if it's just a little spot. But I like this one because on the times when I didn't have cell service at night, I could still send my family messages saying, made it to camp, I'm at mile this campsite. It really made my husband and kiddos feel much better that I was able to contact them at least daily while I was out there by myself doing my solo hike. So I love it. I don't go on hikes usually without it. Once in a blue moon, but usually I always have it, whether it's a day hike or a backpacking trip. Another piece of gear that I really liked was my Kula Cloth. Basically, it's a pee rag, but it's got antibacterial stuff in it, and you know, having to use toilet paper all the time just to run and go pee, I didn't like that idea. So I really like the Kula Cloth. Definite must. Wash it every time I go into town. Really a great piece of gear. Another favorite piece of gear that at first I wasn't sure if I liked or not, but I fell in love with, was my Gossamer gear Liteflex umbrella. And this was invaluable to me on the really rainy days. Yes, in high wind it's not helpful, but for the times when it would just rain, it was fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's very lightweight. I have a little thing to hook on my backpack so it's completely hands-free for me. Once I figured out how to hook it up so it would stay tight and not slide down, it was great. So I really love this, and I will always backpack with it. The other piece of gear I had was my first aid kit. There's a few things in here that I only needed for emergencies that I didn't use, but I really felt comfortable having this with me. I'm not going to go through everything in here. I'll link the video that I did for my first aid / repair kit right here, so you can see everything that's in here if you want. And yeah, it's a little heavier than some people's, I get that, but it made me happy. It made Matt feel comfortable that I had some sort of emergency stuff. So for my electronics, I carried my iPhone Pro 11, which I'm filming on right now, so I can't show you that, but it's the one with the 3 cameras. I really love my iPhone. That works great for me. For recharging, I have my Anker. It's a little heavy, but it's 20,000 watts. It's a quick charge one, and you know, I usually got up to 6 days on this. There was only one time where I ran into trouble because I'd been out there longer than expected before going back into town. But there were people at camp that let me charge my iPhone on there, so it worked out great. I really like this. Again, it's a little heavy, but if you're vlogging, you got to carry something to recharge your phone. So along with my phone, for vlogging gear, I carried this Manfrotto clip that held my phone, and then my mini tripod. I think it's by Ultrapod, and you can use it as a little tripod, or you know, it has Velcro, and I would sometimes wrap around trees and branches to be able to film. So super lightweight, very useful. Love this. Then I have my Anker Blue Tooth headphones that I carried. And I carry these. Sometimes I would use them if it was windy to talk into when I was filming. Honestly, more often than not, I just used them for editing at night. I thought maybe sometimes I'd listen to music, but I never really did. So Once in a blue moon, I'd watch a YouTube video if I wasn't falling asleep editing my own. But these were great. And then I had my Aukey wall charger. This is actually an Anker wall charger and not the one I used. I grabbed the wrong one. Mine just had 2 plugs. It had the plug to be able to reach 2 different size plugs so I could charge more than one thing at a time, and that worked out really great when I was in town. The other thing I carried was this mini little thing. I don't even know what it's called. It's just to be able to, you turn it on, it's Bluetooth, hooks to my phone, and I can step away and take pictures by clicking it, and that works great when I was all by myself and I wanted scenic pictures over by, you know, with me standing with the background. So I used this for that. The only other electronic piece of gear I carried was my headlamp. It's a Petzl Actic headlamp. You know, it's the one that has multiple settings and a red light if you need it, which I used a lot at night to go to the bathroom or to look for something in my tent, especially when other people were around and I didn't want a bright light. So I had my headlamp. I know they make teeny tiny ones now, but I already had this one and I just didn't want to repurchase another one. Works great. So the cook system was another item I carried. I know you can cold soak. Nope, I didn't want to cold soak. I like being able to have hot food at night, so I didn't want to cold soak. So inside, I have my MSR Pocket Rocket 2, which I absolutely love. Super easy, super lightweight, very convenient. Then I have just a little mini lighter in there. And then my MSR fuel canister. I like the small one. I did a few times have to carry the large one. The small one's nice because it fits right inside my pot and I can fit everything in there. The large one doesn't fit inside my pot, so I had to carry it separate, and that took up a lot of room in my pack. So I don't like the large one, I like the small one. All right, and so my pot is a Snow Peak 700 milliliter titanium pot, and it has a cover to make the water boil faster. I had a Snow Peak one before this that I really liked, but it just didn't have a cover, so I wanted this one with the cover. Really helps speed the boiling process along, so I love it. Then I have my Spork. I have the Sea to Summit long-handled Spork, and honestly I'm undecided. I didn't really use anything that needed the Spork, eat anything that needed the Spork too much. Even the ramen, I don't know. I wonder if I'll switch to like a polished spoon. I do definitely like the long handle for sure. Especially if you have a backpacker meal, being able to go into it with a long handle is much nicer. I'm undecided on the Spork part. I've had this a long time, so I haven't bothered changing. But sometimes eating with the Spork is kind of weird, but eh. Alright, so my other item, I have the Sea to Summit, part of my cook system, Sea to Summit collapsible mug. This, I think I'm not going to carry next time. I don't know, I used it almost every day the first month. Every morning I would get up, I would make myself a cup of coffee, and it was so nice. But that got old. And then I started going to coffee maybe every other day, and then it was once or twice a week, and then basically then I just carried this in case I ever wanted coffee, tea, or hot chocolate and didn't want to drink out of my pot. It wasn't very often. I mostly ended up just getting coffee in town because I got too lazy in the morning and I just wanted to hurry up and pack up and get out of there. So yeah, I don't think I'll carry this again. Maybe definitely on like a weekend backpacking trip, I can see when I'm not in a rush or not trying to make huge miles. Then I get up and have a nice cup of coffee. So I'll carry it for things like that, but not when I go back and finish. In my water system, I had the full-size Sawyer Squeeze. The mini just clogged too easily. This one worked great when I got in. I didn't back flush it every day, but I did back flush it every time I went to town, cleaned it out, and that really made the flow nice. And then with that, I had the CNOC 2-liter bag that I could carry extra water in if I wanted, or just for scooping. This is so nice. I tried just using the bottle and connecting this to it, and I could not stand that. So this was my dirty water bag, and then I carried 2 Smart Liter or Life water bottles. Everybody knows what those look like. I don't have one handy, and I would just put clean water in those. I did not like drinking out of the Smart water bottle with this attached to it. Hated it. Definitely recommend the CNOC bag for dirty water, and then I would filter it right into the bottles. That's just what I preferred. One of the other things I carried was my neck knife. I carried it for some protection, mostly if I was getting rides and things like that. I would also use it as my knife, and this is very, very sharp. It's by tea knives. It's just a thin, nice neck knife, and I really liked it because I can wear it under my clothing. It's hardly noticeable when I do. It made me feel more comfortable, and it was very useful. So I take this all the time on day hikes, backpacking, especially when I'm solo. So definitely this was, I love it. So, and the very last piece of gear that I haven't talked about, at least I think it's the last piece of gear, is my bareback food hanging kit. And this is from Zpacks. Put the pink stripes on there because there was so many blue Zpacks food bags out there. When I hung a bag, I wanted to be able to see that it was mine. And I did carry, you know, the sealable smell-proof bag in it as well. It looks like there's still stuff in it. So those are really the last two things I carried. Here's the line that you use to hang it. And that's pretty much my review. I have a love-hate relationship with this, I guess you'd say. I have a bad shoulder. It wasn't always easy for me to hang a bag. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. I'm very much considering doing like a bare vault or something like that, that I don't have to worry about my shoulder and trying to hang it. So many times there was nowhere good close by to hang a bare bag, so it got to be a pain. Not sure what I'll do next time yet. That's still a debate, whether I carry this again or get like a bare canister, which I know isn't required, but really it may be easier. Though there's some extra weight involved there, so who knows? We shall see. I'm going to do some research. And that is it. If you have any questions about this gear, please put them below. I'm pretty sure that's everything I carried. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Mostly I was really happy with all the gear I chose, and only a few things would I change. I'll probably be doing an upcoming video soon about the shoe changes that I went through while on trail and what I think about Ultra Tims versus Ultra Lone Peaks. But for now, that's all I have today. Again, you can check out part 1 and part 2 of this series, and I hope you're all having a fantastic week. Thank you so much for following along, and I'll see you in the next video.